Hey everyone, it's Fred Staub and Les Jackson. We have got a great hour of automotive news for you. Ford is beginning production of the F-150 Lightning, or I should say pre-production, which is pretty interesting. Kia is pricing out the Kia Sorento plug-in hybrid. We'll tell you a little bit about that. The Chevy Bolt situation, well, it continues to kind of get worse. There was a fire. Someone had one burn up. They almost burned up their house. We'll tell you about what Chevrolet is recommending if you have one of these vehicles. So you'll want to listen to that for sure. And we're also going to tell you about when and where the Tundra, the Toyota Tundra, will be revealed. Matter of fact, it's going to be revealed tomorrow, but we'll tell you where it is. One of the only automotive shows, car shows underway, Les Jackson, Motor Bella.
Boy, that's pretty cool.
And then we're going to talk about a yoking matter. You know what a yoking matter is? It's the S-Class steering yoke. Consumer Reports tried it, and they weren't that big on it. So We'll tell you about that. Of course, it's sort of like a yoke out of an airplane, one you've probably used often in your former career.
Familiar with those. They weren't in a B-17, but the fact is they weren't that modern either.
And then I'm going to have an at-the-wheel review of the all-new 2021 Nissan Rogue, one of my favorite mid-size crossovers. Great vehicle. I really like the way it drove. We'll talk all about that. So it's all coming up on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Les will be with us the whole hour. So we will be right back.
Staub and Les Jackson.
Control.
Everything you need to know about new and used cars.
Control.
Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air.
Control.
Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin.
Control.
Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
And welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Yep, it's that time again to head out on the highway and get rolling and provide the latest news about new vehicles, new technology, car culture, and Les Jackson's socks.
Yes, indeed. We have, as usual, there's never a shortage for things going on in the auto industry. And now that it's the end of model year, but this year it isn't going to matter.
No.
Because you can't get the cars anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ford is beginning the production build of the F-150 Lightning Electric. They've already got, 150,000 orders for this thing?
Yeah, something like that. And these are pre-production models. They're just kind of working out the kinks. We'll talk about that. And Kia prices out its brand new plug-in hybrid Sorento. Great vehicle, the Sorento, and this gets even better. Although it is more expensive, it does give you 32 miles of all-electric range, which is not bad, right, Les Jackson?
That is very true. Again, it takes away the range anxiety. And as does the Chevy Bolt. Unfortunately, there's a lot of other anxiety involved with the Bolt.
We love the Bolt, but it's getting some bad problems. Yeah.
It's just, it's kind of getting no respect.
Well, the problem is it's burning up, and there's a battery problem. They're going to recall every one of them. And we'll tell you a little bit about what you should do if you own one and what you shouldn't do, right?
That's right. It's a safety issue, and what else can you do?
Right. You have a story about the Tundra, right?
The Tundra is actually going to be revealed tomorrow. And we'll tell you where and how and all that stuff. But this is pretty anticipated. The Tundra has obviously not the following that Ford and Chevy and Ram have, but it's a popular truck.
It's up there. Yeah, and another vehicle that has a following is the Tesla Model S. Of course, there's a new one out. We're going to be yoking around a little bit because Consumer Reports drove the new Model S with this yoke-type steering wheel, and they said the yoke was a bit of a joke. They didn't like it. And it's all part of our As the Tesla Turns segment because Elon gets around dealer laws. We'll tell you how he does that, and reveals laser windshield wipers. Plus,
that will never happen.
I will have an at-the-wheel review of the brand new Nissan Rogue. I really like this vehicle, and we'll have it full at-the-wheel. That's one thing I like, the fact that it had a day-night switch on the button right there on the navigation system. I thought
that's handy.
I thought that was handy and a good thing. So we'll talk about that and more when we come back on Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back to Cruise Control. Les and Fred here. Well, those of you that ordered the F-150 Lightning, and that's a lot of you, or at least you put in orders, you can kind of sit back and rest because pre-production is started, and the new ones will be rolling out in full force very, very soon.
Yep. Yep.
Ford's got a super factory.
Yeah, they built it a year after they built it. They're actually using it. They're kind of on it, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And pre-production, I mean, are these mostly hand-built vehicles? It looks like that's the case. These pre-production vehicles, they got to figure out how to do it. Some of of course, the body and some of the panels are similar, so they can build those using some of the equipment. But I tell you what, some of it's new. It's got to be exciting. It's got to be an exciting time figuring out how to build a new version of America's most popular truck.
I mean, the pre-production process is there to just work out all the little bugs and tricks in the assembly,
right?
To make things work smoothly, where you can train the workers to do it consistently.
And that's a hard thing because you have to, like imagine having to write down everything you had to do to build something. It would take you forever, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but of course now they're, computer robots
don't know
getting
what that
this
thing is, but yeah, it's interesting. They're going to be they're investing an additional $250 million and adding 450 more direct jobs across the Rouge Electric Vehicle Center, Van Dyke Electric and Powertrain Center, and Rawsonville Components Plant. And they're going to will increase the capacity for up to 80,000 more trucks a year. Of course, they need the chips. It has a starting MSRP of $40,000 and a targeted driving range of 300 with the extended battery. And as you said earlier, there are 150 reservations for the trucks to date. So I think this is a real success story.
It's a big deal. Ford just holds on to the F-150 being the most popular truck now for 37 years.
I think it's over 40 actually. So
or over 40 years. It's incredible.
It's not cheap. I mean, they did invest. What was it here?
$7 billion.
7.7. Yeah. So to do this, but I think it's a great thing. I can't wait to drive it. I think it will be a wonderful vehicle to have in the fleet, and it's going to certainly be a strong leader in the pickup truck world when it comes to electrics.
Yep.
And hats off to Ford. I think they've done a pretty good job with that. Now, if you're not ready to go fully electric yet, maybe you'd like something like this, the Kia Sorento plug-in hybrid. We got some pricing information on this. Of course, a plug-in hybrid is like a regular hybrid. In the case of the Sorento, it has a 1.6-liter turbocharged engine and a 66.9 kilowatt electric motor, and they achieve 261 horsepower with that combo. It also has a battery pack that allows 32 miles of all-electric driving range, which is the best of any three-row plug-in hybrid SUV. And the total range is expected to be about 460 miles when you figure everything in, the battery pack and, of course, the gasoline hybrid approach. It's built on a solid vehicle. I had one of these. I drove one of these Sorrentos a couple of weeks ago. Liked it a lot, and I think I think we're going to see a lot more plug-in hybrid vehicles. It's the best type situation you can get right now, I think, if you are worried about range, as you said earlier, and it's a great platform that Kia builds this on. It is about, I believe, $5,000 more than the standard Sorento. There's two different models. There's the SX model for $44,990. I'm sorry. There are two different models. The SX has that, and then there's the SX Prestige, which has more goodies, $47,890. And it may be still eligible for $6,587 federal tax credit. So if you're worried about that $5,000 difference between the regular one, that just kind of erased it, didn't it?
Well, that's right. It's sort of academic.
Of course, you do get to pay the $1,175 destination charge for that. So we'll talk about that. Destination charges. But hey, when we come back, plenty more to go. We're going to talk about the situation with the Chevy Bolt. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Well, I guess we may as well talk about the Chevy Bolt that we mentioned at the beginning of the hour.
Yeah.
A lot of problems, and sadly, the problems involved with them are fires. Some of them, not many, but some of them are having a tendency to catch on fire.
They're
by
all
themselves.
going to be recalled, though, I believe. Every
Got to
one of them.
recall every single one. Now, it's not Chevrolet's fault, but it doesn't matter. They're responsible.
Yeah. It affects 141,000 of these vehicles. Of course, the Chevy Bolt is, I think, one of the best entry-level electric vehicles, a 250-mile range. They came out with their sort of larger model that has a little more storage. In 2022, it gets the cruise capability, the hands-free or semi-hands-free driving capability. Good-looking little vehicle, nice runabout. But the problem is there were multiple errors made with these LG Chem batteries that they used in this vehicle, and they're catching fire. There was one that in Cherokee County, I'm not quite sure where that is, but 2019 Bolt caught fire in this guy's garage and damaged the house. The fire department was able to pull it out and flood it with water, but not good. And, you know, the plan is to replace all the modules in these cars, and it was going to cost around $1.8 billion. Now, GM is not on the hook for that, are they? They didn't.
No, the battery company, I'm sure, has to make it good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what their contracts say as a supplier.
Yeah.
But somebody's going to lose a lot of money.
Yeah, well, that's a basic warranty thing, too. You can't serve up something that's going to catch on fire and say, you know. Now, there are a list of things, if you do own a Chevy Bolt, that GM is saying they have some requests, including returning the vehicle to about 90% level of state of charge, not charging it all the way, using the Hilltop Reserve mode or Target Charge Level mode, and not letting the power drop below 70 miles of remaining charge. Hard to do, I think, to think about that all the time, right?
Yeah.
And then when you're in a parking garage or in general, they say to park the Bolt 50 feet away from other vehicles. And if you're in a parking garage, to go and park on the roof, to be kept away from all of these things. What do you think of this? I mean, they've got to get the word out here, because this could be an issue. You could set a whole bunch of cars on fire, couldn't you?
Yeah, and then there is some liability on you.
And this is a report from Reuters. They said that Bolt EV production has been shut down through mid-October because they just don't have a recall remedy for these things. They're not going to put these potentially defective batteries into new Bolts. And I have to say, I'll repeat, I'm sad about this because I like the Bolt. I think it's a great way to jump into the EV world, great little commuter car. And, you know, it's unfortunately getting a bad name.
Well, it is. By the way, this is costing about $12,700 per bolt to fix.
Wow. Well, it's a big job. You got to pull all the batteries out and replace them.
That's right. Replace all the batteries.
I don't know how.
Oh, no, no, it's the module that controls them, right?
No, I think it's the batteries. But either way, it's a big job. I'm sure it's a big job. Lots of disassembly.
It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. While we're on EVs, there's been a lot of EV incentive proposals. You know that you can get $7,500 off currently from many manufacturers if they have not gone over, 200,000 electric vehicles sold. It's a federal incentive. Now there's a new proposed law that would increase that to $2,500 to help people transition to electric. But some manufacturers are upset about this because the proposed law would have the limits that General Motors and Tesla has already hit erased. They have already sold over 200,000 electric vehicles. And so they would basically start clean, while the other manufacturers would be put on an even footing with them. So some manufacturers are unhappy about that because they are a little bit later into the electric game. Honda called the bill unfair, arguing that it discriminates among EVs made by hardworking American auto workers based simply on whether they belong to a union or not. So it's getting all political now. What do you think about this? I guess they can work this all out, but certainly bumping it up to $2,500 will bring the price that you pay more in line with a regular gas-powered vehicle.
Yeah, that's true. Now, I kind of have mixed feelings about this. Uh, I I have no problem with the incentives, and I actually don't have a problem with the current rule as written, and this is just isn't passed yet.
Mm-hmm.
That it they have to be built by union shops, um, but I still have a problem with the production numbers. It just seems to me that you need to level the playing field somehow, not necessarily disqualifying Tesla and GM, but just making the incentives different.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a complex problem because you look at Ford, they build the Mach-E in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean, as proposed, they wouldn't be eligible for this, right?
That is true,
But the Ford
unless
Lightning would be. The Ford Lightning being
yeah,
built in the Rouge plant would be.
but maybe Ford could have some sort of a thing where the UAW is uh, it runs the union in Mexico.
I don't.
It's just really
It's
complicated.
it's complicated. It's complicated, but I don't know how this will work out. And the problem is there was an uneven start getting into electric cars. Toyota's a little late to get into it. Ford was late to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't want to be perceived as, once again, giving Tesla a free ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, let's talk a little bit about something completely different, and that is the Toyota Tundra. This is a highly anticipated pickup. Guess when it's going to be revealed, Les Jackson?
Uh, this afternoon. No.
No. No, it will make its debut at Motor Bella, a 6-day outdoor vehicle showcase on Pontiac's M1 concourse. It will be featured in a 10:10 a.m. It's bizarre. Press briefing on Tuesday, September 21st. And it will be revealed. People are excited to see this thing. They've been waiting for it for a long time, haven't they?
We have, and I'm sure, of course, we'll be part of the virtual reveal.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be getting more information about the Tundra and perhaps having a guest on to talk a little bit about it. The concept of Motor Bella is this kind of 6-day outdoor car show. I think this could be a concept for future car shows. Keep them outdoors, and change away from what they've been doing, because you and I have not been to a regular car show in quite some time because they haven't been around, thanks to
That's right.
what's going on in the world, right? And we had a close call with the New York one, and then of course that went away quickly as well. So hey, when we come back, we're going to tell you about a no yoke story, or actually a yoke story, about Consumer Reports, what they think of the new Model S Tesla. We're also going to talk about As the Tesla Turns. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staub and Les Jackson along with you. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. You can find out about liking us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, all that more. All the social stuff is out there. We'd like you to check in on those platforms from time to time. Let's talk about As the Tesla Turns. What do you think, Les?
Absolutely.
A lot of Tesla news this week coming into the newsroom here at Cruise Control. The first story is from Consumer Reports, located not that far from where I am sitting. And they had a chance to test the new Model S. Now, the new Model S has a lot of improvements, and one that may not be an improvement, they've done away with the steering wheel in the traditional sense and made it a yoke. More like what you would find on, let's say, a Boeing aircraft. Or
your Learjet.
Or your Lear. Yeah, you wouldn't.
Gulfstream.
You wouldn't find it on your Airbus. They use a side stick.
No, they use a stick.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be judgmental. This is a marketing breakthrough, and in no way is it a technological breakthrough.
Yeah, well, I think
it's a gimmick.
I think the folks over at Consumer Reports would agree with you. They just got their hands on a new Model S, and they said, well, we're going to first start with the obvious here, this yoke. And the people that reviewed it and drove it said their hands were sore. They had a hard time when they had to go around a turn. They couldn't use shuffle steering because the area you would use of the steering wheel is no longer there. It's chopped away. They saw it as providing no advantage over a traditional circular steering wheel. And they said that they were upset that a traditional circular steering wheel is no longer available on the Model S. How would they get this past the folks at NHTSA?
The folks at NHTSA are going to look at this and decide whether they like it or not.
Uh-huh. Then there are no more stalks on the column for turn signals or things like that. They're just a bunch of little buttons. That's how you flash the horn or the turn signal.
On the yoke.
On the yoke itself. Sort of like a pickle switch to drop bombs and that on or
accidentally hit, because your thumbs are naturally just going to gravitate over there.
Yeah. So basically, Consumer Reports said there's really no advantage to this and a lot of disadvantages to this. Maybe the one advantage was you could see the instruments better.
Also, it looks cheesy.
It looks like a toy. It looks like an aircraft simulator.
It looks like the handset that some kid would be playing on a computer game with.
Yes, that's what it looks like. It looks like, hey, we've got this Ronco imitation airplane yoke.
Also, the entire interior just looks stark and uninviting to me.
I think so. He said, Elon Musk tweeted earlier this month, he said, yet another round wheel is boring. The yoke might look cool, and it's not impossible to get used to.
It's not impossible to get used to.
But why get used to it? It's like saying, well, if we took the stairs out of your house and put a ladder in, it's not impossible to get used to.
It's not impossible to get used to it. But yeah, you're right. That's absolutely true.
But is it an improvement, No. So, this, I just don't get it. What I did find interesting was, they have the plaid version of this Model S, and they're going for the Nürburgring record for fastest electric power car. Apparently, one of the cars had this yoke and another one had a traditional steering wheel in it. and that was the one that drove faster because you need to make a lot of
Of
steering wheel
course.
inputs, and you can't be twisting your arm. I mean, I think this is what would happen. You'd be like this, you're
Yeah.
crisscross. You're running out of motion. You're
There
running out
was
of.
a yeah, there was a late 50s Chrysler that had like not quite a yoke, but the steering wheel was sort of a square
Mm-hmm.
oval,
Yeah.
and it was very difficult to get used to it.
Well, I just got out of the C8 Corvette, and the square steering wheel is kind of weird because where you put your hands, it kind of forces them down. A 9 and 3, which is not bad, but it feels different. I wasn't completely off put by it, but I could be happy with a round steering wheel too. I think I like a round steering wheel better.
I was asked at we had a board meeting for our civic association the other night, and people always ask me car questions. And one of the people said, "Wouldn't you like to sit down for an evening and talk to Elon Musk?" And you know me,
you,
I,
you
I,
you had
I
no
said,
opinion.
my answer was, I said, only if it improved on the silence. Because you don't listen. Well, you don't talk to Elon Musk. You listen to him preach.
He talks at you, yeah, not to you.
Yeah, and as you know, I don't take well to that sort of
On that note,
person.
let's keep talking about as the
Let's
Tesla turns.
talk about Tesla.
Now, of course, there's a big lobby for auto dealers, and they want to keep their business going.
Yep.
So they have in many states a very powerful lobby that means that you cannot sell cars directly from the company. Like GM can't open up a store and say, oh, you're buying directly from GM or Ford or any of them. Well, how Musk got around this in New Mexico is he built a sales store, a private or company sales store on tribal land. They don't have that rule.
Very clever.
They don't have to
Very
do
clever.
that. It's a loophole in the law. So he did this, and he said only around 1,700 people live there, but Tesla can't employ everyone looking for work. Fortunately, Tesla owners and buyers coming from both Santa Fe and Albuquerque are going to want to eat in restaurants and go shopping in the town. This is the something in the area. This article is according to The Hill. Governor. He's the governor of New Mexico. So,
Yeah.
So there's that, which is a bit clever, I will say.
It's no, that's creative thinking.
Yeah. And how about this? This is a little talking tech. This is something from your past. Tesla's laser windshield wiper patent
Yes.
had been approved. It would replace traditional windshield wipers with lasers that would, I guess, cook away the debris and rain.
Yes. Let me explain the science, and then let me explain why this ain't ever going to happen on a car.
Okay.
The science is called laser ablation,
Uh-huh.
and they're using a pulsed, probably CO2 laser, infrared, to blast the dirt. We used to do this, building lasers on the inside of what was known as a Brewster window on a gas laser. It would develop a little trash from the tremendous current flow, and you'd use a Tesla coil
How ironic.
right against the window, and it would ablate the film of crud on the inside of the window because it's in a vacuum. So yes, you can do it, but you're talking about a fairly expensive windshield wiper here.
Yeah.
And sure, you can get the patent for it because it's doable, but you're going to have scattered light where it hits the top surface of the window.
Right.
And that scattered light is going to be heading in all directions. It's called grazing incidence, reflection. And it uses very high energies. So yeah, it's attenuated in the air. But if somebody's standing next to that car, you could blind them.
Great.
So this is
no
pure
problem.
hype.
Let's do it.
This
Let's
is
build it.
pure hype. This is getting a patent for something that's just absolute hype.
Well, I have to say, probably windshield wipers are one of the oldest technologies on a car. You think about it.
Yeah.
They could be
Yeah.
improved, but this probably might not be the way to do it, since you would blind people and probably use a lot of power running it, I would imagine, right?
You're going to need, you've got to put out a lot of watts.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to put out some watts and review the brand new Nissan Rogue for 2021. I'll have an at the wheel review, so stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. At the wheel time, everyone. This time, we are taking a look at the brand new 2021 Nissan Rogue. Really a well-designed vehicle, completely redesigned for 2021. Went on sale in the fall of 2020. And all new platform. Really, really nice vehicle, Les Jackson. They call it a mid-size crossover. And it's a nice size, frankly. The first thing that stood out to me was how well it drove. It felt solid on the road. It only has 181 horsepower, but that comes from a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine. And it just seems well matched to the vehicle.
Yeah, they've always been a good platform. I drove the first ones when they were introduced in 08 and 09, and I really found them quite nice.
Yeah. One thing you have to get used to on the inside, there's this different kind of shifter, which you have to push forward and back. There's a reverse lockout. But little things I like there's a button for day-night version of the screen. It's right there on the stand-up screen. There are great controls for everything. Everything's clear, nice graphics on the inside. There are USBs everywhere, USB-C and regular USB. And then the off-road system, the all-wheel drive system, is really easy to do. It's just one knob that you rotate around. Great interior, I would say clean, modern, nice materials, flat bottom wheel, good rear visibility, which is a thing that you don't get that much anymore. All of them come with a 2.5 liter 16 valve 4-cylinder 181 horsepower engine, 181 pound-feet of torque. Power goes through an Xtronic CVT with manual mode, and Nissan does those very well, by the way. It just felt well planted on the road. It felt like it was confident. It shifted confidently or transitioned. I don't know if a CVT shifts. Technically, sometimes they have simulated shifts. It looked clean and modern on the outside. I liked the sail panel in the back, how the window was integrated in there. It just looked modern. The glass is flush. Good storage in the back, remote releases for the seats. I think that's always handy. If you got a lot of stuff to shove in the back of the vehicle, you can get all kinds of cool stuff like rear heated seats. The rear seats also have temperature control now, which is great, and more USB connection. And overall, just a clean looking vehicle, good storage, not all that big. I would say it's more compact than midsize, but it's rated as a midsize. Ours was the SL, which is the second from the top. And you can get a premium model, too, with even better seating, and that has some storage under that. And it comes with a spare tire, at least a temporary spare. The other neat thing is they have that intelligent key on the rear doors now, so you can, if you have the key in your pocket, you just push that button and you can get in there, which is a really, really thoughtful thing. A lot of nice little thoughtful things. Screens on the side rear windows for glare. Once again, clean interior, nice materials. This is the SL. You can upgrade it up if you want and get fancier leather seats. That's kind of up to you. Mileage was good. 32 highway, 25 city for 28 mile per gallon combined. And the thing of it was, that is all-wheel drive. So you have a pretty capable little vehicle with multiple versions. You have a snow mode. You have off-road, as far as loose gravel type of setting on this vehicle. Ours had a lot of great stuff on it. It had the SL Premium package with that 9-inch color touch display, Nissan door-to-door navigation, Sirius XM, Pro Pilot Assist with NaviLink, which is great. That is a well-integrated package of driving assistance for you as lane keeping, pedestrian safety, all that, and more the folks over at Nissan have done a great job of making a lot of that standard across the board. Then, of course, you have LED low and high beam headlights, LED daytime running lights, LED taillights, LED fog lights, which is always good. Gets great ratings. Side crash, it's 5-star. Rollover, 4-star. Frontal crash, it is not rated. Overall score, not rated. It is built in Smyrna, Georgia, so built in the U.S., and its final assembly point is Smyrna. Ours was in gunmetal metallic with a charcoal interior. And you're probably going to want to ask about the price, aren't you?
I am going to ask about the price.
Okay, so suggested retail for the SL Nissan Rogue all-wheel drive was $33,500. Ours added splash guards, chrome rear bumper protector, floor mats, and then that SL premium package with the bigger display, navigation, all that and more, and a destination charge of $1,150. Total, all in, $36,705. If you need more, though, you can go with that premium model, which will upgrade the interior. I think it's one to look at if you're looking for a small crossover. By the way, I always recommend, if you're buying a vehicle, look if it has a spare tire, or what it has for a spare tire, or what it has for a jack. Having just gotten a flat, you don't want to find out about this in the middle of the night, and maybe, you can't get somebody to give you assistance on the side of the road.
And always check the air pressure occasionally in your spare tire.
I do it once a month in my regular tires, and every couple of months in my spares.
Yeah, I do it honestly about twice a year. But
yeah, the shifter was a little bit to get used to, but you get used to it. It's got a reverse lockout button. You have to shove it forward. I think it's just to give you a little bit more room in the cab.
So it's not impossible to get used to it.
It's not impossible. You'll get used to it.
Yeah. Okay.
It was fine. You would slide it back and forth, and there's a reverse lockout button on the side. One thing our test vehicle was missing was a wireless phone charger. I thought I had to go on the Nissan site and look, can you get it? Yes, it's a $250 option. I happen to like wireless phone charging, so I probably would pop for that. There's a place for
it. Let me ask you, do you notice in the cars we test if the windshield wipers, if the sunshades flip over to the side and extend out?
I have to say, I don't know if I normally look at that, but a lot of them don't. They save money.
A lot of them don't. And I find the lower priced vehicles do. And
funny.
The higher priced ones don't. So it's kind of running at about 50-50, which I just think that's important.
It was interesting. I read an article somewhere, Autoblog or Car Buzz or something like that. They said that the new Toyota Cross, their small crossover, the base model does not have push-button start. And someone said, well, it has regular keys. How do you save money? What do you save? You save like $125. So wouldn't you say, like, I'll go for the $125 and get the push-button, right?
Actually, you can buy aftermarket push-button start switches and wiring for like $40.
But it's just funny how they save money.
But it's
shave
so
it
what?
Here and there, or we'll take out a bolt cover or something like that. So, hey, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Cruise Control. Don't forget, check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road. Take care.
Bye.